If you're ready to take back control of your health, you're in the right place. Welcome to Awaken Wellness with me, Tanya Candy, registered nurse and health coach. Now, I'm not your typical nurse. I consider myself divorced from traditional healthcare. I broke free of the sick care system in 2019 when I realized that the root cause to my sickness, my autoimmune disease, and my chronic pain was me. If you're ready for truth, for clarity, for honesty in a tough, love, compassionate way, I'm the coach for you. Join me while we dig into our root causes of sickness and disease. Hello, good evening, and welcome. It's Nurse Tanya from Awaken Wellness here on a beautiful, chilly winter evening. Here to welcome you and get some of your questions answered about cellular level detoxification and parasite cleansing. So it is 2025, the new year, the new you, right? We are coming up on a new presidential inauguration that's happening tomorrow night. In the news for like a whopping, I don't know, was it 24 hours, 48 hours? Um, TikTok was banned in the US, but magically it's back, right? So there's so many up and coming and exciting things going on in our world, like there always is, right? But things are really on the up and up. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling energetic, I'm feeling upbeat, like I'm excited about where we're going. I have had such a wonderful new year already. So many new clients who are coming in, a lot of youth, a lot of kids, and people are ready. People are ready to take back control of their health. Like again, in the politics, in the awareness, we're hearing really exciting things. People are talking about making changes in our food, in our marketing, in food dyes. Like I'm excited to see that movie that's coming out, that documentary about food dye. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited that people are talking about getting fluoride out of their water. Like there are states that are gearing up and they're saying we are going to take fluoride out of our water. So that alone is like admitting, like people are admitting that there was a problem. So that is so cool. I am streaming using StreamYard on multiple platforms, but I can see your comments. So if you're there, let me know that you're here. I am I will answer comments as I go, but primarily this will be a reusable video for me, so I'll try not to get too sidetracked. Um, I just want to really kind of briefly talk about what I do with Cellcore Biosciences, how it changed my life, my trajectory, my health. Um, for me, like when I really started doing parasite work, it's been long enough now ago where I almost forgot, right? I almost forget some of those things that you went through. So it's really good to remember what that is like. Honestly, I think I'm getting geared up. I've been trying to talk myself into it for a while, just starting over and doing the full foundational parasite cleanse again at this level of health that I'm at. I'll tell you a few things here about myself and my story. So I um, am an RN by trade, by nature. I, at this point, consider myself divorced from the sick care system. I keep my RN license because it does allow me to do some really cool things. Like I do functional blood work and I can draw my client's blood right there in my office and spin it and send it off. So that's really cool. I do some nutritional IV drips. So my RN license allows me to do that. As a client, as my own health journey, what led me down this road was my autoimmune disease. I had so much pain. I had crazy IBS. Um, but it was really the pain in my back, in my neck. I had some herniated discs. My fibromyalgia points were so intense. I was losing quality of life. And I knew as a nurse that those diagnoses would lead to medications that I didn't want to take, that I wasn't okay with. So I started seeking different answers for myself. I started to take responsibility. I started to get educated. I first went to education through the Wellness Way with Dr. Patrick Flynn. I did their functional health, their functional practitioner program. It was amazing. My health just started to bloom again, right? And then once I kept seeking knowledge, like always seeking knowledge, if you are trying to get on my schedule, you'll notice like I'm always gone to some conference, like always seeking knowledge, the next, the latest, the greatest. Like right now, we are in the world of frequency healing, med beds, all this cool stuff like my Nikki watch. I'll share more on that at a later date. But it was my own story, my own need for health. And I'm still on my journey. Like, I by no means have arrived. So, in my functional testing, in my pursuit of wellness, I realized I had Lyme disease. Big surprise, right? Most people with an autoimmune issue, whether the medical world has picked up on it, whether there's that diagnosis or not, it's there, my friends. It's there. It is a bioweapon. It is in your pile of root causes. If you've got the big CANCER, or in remission, had autoimmune disease, or you just feel like you're falling apart and you have absolutely no energy, like our mitochondria. When I paired my practice with Cellcore Biosciences, like things just boom, just changed. I myself was like, oh my gosh, like now this stuff works, right? So what I didn't have, what I wasn't filling in the blanks with back in the wellness way, what they offered as far as protocols, we weren't working on mitochondria. Mitochondria. If we don't have mitochondrial energy, like our body cannot heal. Like basic 101 science, like, in high school biology, they lead you to believe like you have one mitochondria per cell or something. Like if you remember the whole ATP, the cell cycle, and all of that, well, my goodness, right? We have got hundreds and thousands of mitochondria in every cell except red blood cells, but they are highly concentrated in your brain, in your heart, in your major muscles. So that's why when we are fighting pathogens, our immune system is recruiting the mitochondria. So every bit of energy we have is going over here to this pathogen load, and there's none left over, like to keep your brain feeling like it's functioning right, to keep your heart feeling like it's functioning right, and then to keep your blood and your lymph and all of that going, your muscles, you're just chronically fatigued. So, fatigue is the biggest symptom that we work on. It's something that the medical world has no answer for. It is, it's one of those things where so many of us, you go to the doctor because you just feel terrible. You have no energy, you have no mojo. I mean, you just are like falling apart. But they pull some blood work, right? And like they test your TSH and they test your CBC, and maybe they do your A1C if you're lucky. Maybe they do an inflammatory level and your vitamin D if you're lucky, right? But for most of us, you get those labs back and they're like, I don't know, your labs look fine. You're fine. Like, sorry, we can't help you. Like, come back when you're sicker. Then we can throw some medication at your problem. But right now, you're fine. So, like, I was there. I was falling apart. But for me, being a stubborn health practitioner, being a nurse, I kind of knew what the diagnosis was going to be. I knew what the answers were going to be, and I knew it wasn't for me. So when I started peeling back the layers, when I finally took responsibility, I wanted to know what the root cause of my fatigue was. What is the root cause of this autoimmune disease? Well, at the very heart of it, at the very heart of it, the root of the root of the root causes, I realized was me. I was the root cause of my disease because our bodies are only the product of the environment that we expose them to, right? And autoimmune disease, the way the medical community tries to describe it, is absolute, pardon my French, I get passionate. It is bullshit. It is bullshit. Your body was created by the Lord above to be perfect. Your body it will never hurt itself intentionally. Never. When you have autoimmune disease, your body is not attacking itself. It's not attacking itself. It is desperately trying to defend itself from something that should not be in it, right? We get full of toxins. We get full of parasites. And then the next layer to that is like everybody being on proton pump inhibitors. I was on a proton pump inhibitor for years, for most of my 20s and most of my 30s. When you don't have stomach acid, bad things happen in your body, right? The Lord designed us to need stomach acid, not or not Prilosec, right? So that's part of it. We have to have stomach acid, that foundation. When that is not there, bad things happen in the body. So, a lot of you, if you watch my videos, if you know me at all, you've heard me say this 100 times. It's something that I'm always going to be sharing on. I am so passionate about it. Anyone can get their health back, anyone can get off medications, anyone, pretty much anyone, even fertility, endometriosis, polycystic ovary disease, these things that are just rampant in our society are one, mitochondrial dysfunction, and two, parasites. Parasites, parasites, parasites. Now, when I say parasite, I mean that pretty loosely, okay? When I say parasite, I mean any organism in your body that is stealing your nutrition and causing waste within you, causing biofilms, causing that waste. Like some people even get into seizures because they have so much parasite pee, so much ammonia. They're just so full of acid, right? So every sickness and disease in your body is rooted in pathogens, parasites, toxins, and poor nutrition. So your body was designed to heal. All you have to do is remove what was never intended to be there in the first place and replenish what was missing, right? Hi, everybody. Give me some comments. I'm just going to keep ranting and raving. So, it does suck that we are where we're at. The earth, the farming practices, they are not what they used to be. So I wish that we could just eat organic good food and say that was going to refuel our body like it did 20 years ago. It's not. Yes, I promote organic, eat organic, but the truth of the matter is a lot of organic food is basically raised in sawdust, right? So, even better than organic is your local neighbor that is doing some regenerative farming, that is doing some regenerative garden. Hi, Tracy. So, yes, organic, do what you can, but when we study regenerative, like we're regenerating the body, regenerative farming, good soil can do a lot for detoxing. So I myself, I try not to get too vocal on this, soapbox in my community because I live in I always call it glyphosate valley. I live in a commercialized farming valley with a lot of irrigating, and I get it. I get why people use Roundup. I get it. My husband, your our hands are tied at this point with big commercial farming. I mean, honestly, I don't know what the answer is. That is way beyond me. Right now, my answer are Cellcore binders in my toolkit, right? Like that's my answer. Sadly enough, that is my answer. But I love that I have those tools. I love that I can not live in fear because like that's another part of this whole picture, right? When we start to get enlightened and we start to get the blinders off of our eyes and we get our ears open to all these things, right? So, this is my example. I was meeting with the cutest 6 year old a couple of weeks ago. He's struggling with ADD, ADHD, behavior problems. Mom is trying not to do medication, but like, there again, she feels like her hands are tied. So we're talking about food dyes, we're talking about sugar, we're talking about these kind of things. And like, let me talk to you from a 6-year-old perspective, right? So I was asking him, I'm like, do you watch Paw Patrol? And yeah, yeah, I watch Paw Patrol. What's the bad guy's name on Paw Patrol? And I couldn't think of it, but of course the 6-year-old, no, well, it's Mayor Humdinger, right? So I'm like, in real life, they're like real life Mayor Humdingers that are making toxic food, that are putting toxins in the air, that are spraying it out of airplanes and all sorts of stuff like that. Real life Mayor Humdingers. And like, if we even think of that from an adult level, and then like I was telling him, he's 6 and he's, doing sports and he really likes Cheetos and he really likes Cheez Its and Doritos. And so, like I was telling him, if an adult offers you those foods, then you just politely say, no, thank you. They're not good for me and they're not good for you either. Like, these things are going to come from this young generation as we parent them, as we educate them. And I mean, do I want the government controlling our food? Absolutely not. I do not want that. But I know that we can all do better. We can all vote with our dollars, right? We don't want the government coming in and telling us that now you can't do this and now you can't do that, whether it's toxins in our food. But we do want education. We do want people to be smart enough to choose, right? So that's really important. And where I was going with this story is when you're first getting the blinders off to the big pharma and just causing you more problems. And I'll tell a story about that a little bit later. But it's super hard when you're just first getting into all this, not to just be mad all the time, right? Or not to get in a state of fear. Can't think of the fancy name for it, like when you're afraid of food, because now your eyes are open to it and you're reading the ingredients and like, I mean, even the fruit, you got to see what certain code it is so it doesn't have that whatever coating on it, the appeal coating, and all of this is just overwhelming. And then depending on how you're wired, some people can just shut down. Like they can get depressed. All of these things that we have to negotiate and mentally process. And then when we're sick in the first place, when we have no energy in the first place, like we can barely get ourselves dressed and to work in the morning, let alone worry about these tragic food problems. Like it's a lot, people. It's a lot. I get it. That's what I'm here for, is to help you sort out all that stuff and navigate these waters. We are building a community, right? I've got my Facebook page for support. It's called the Great Health Reset. So I'm building that for my clients, for a community, so we can support each other and we don't have to be afraid, and we have tools and all of those things, so we can navigate these ever changing waters. It is a huge thing. So, man, I just got to take a breath. I get so passionate about all of this. So, we're really here to talk about parasites, and we're here to talk about what you can do about them, um, and detoxification, right? So, I just posted a post on Facebook not too long ago that, like, some people, I kind of hate that word detox, really, because it means something different to everyone who says that word, right? To me, that means something totally different than it means to the next guy. For me, it means like cellular level detoxification. And then, of course, I'm going to get off on that methylation. I am always doing this. Like your liver has to go through these stages. It has to go through fat soluble to water soluble to bound and out of you, right? And a lot of people are finding out, myself included, most people, I do believe, with autoimmune disease and that kind of thing probably have some methylation issues, right? They probably have some gene issues, some MTHFR, some COMT genes, and some things just aren't genetically quite optimal. We always say now, don't get wiggy with the genes though, right? Because your gene pool loads the gun, right? But your lifestyle pulls the trigger. Just because you have genes that are not maybe the best of the gene pool, that doesn't mean that you're going to fall apart, right? Your lifestyle still is the deciding factor. I am one who believes that when a negative gene gets expressed or tripped on for some reason, like say an allergy, you have eaten onions your whole life, but now for some reason they are causing your throat to close or they're giving you hives, right? Something happened where that was tripped on. But your body can heal when we reduce inflammation, when we detox. Those things can get tripped back off, right? So we always want to remember the good parts, the awesome things that can happen when we start to take control of what goes in our mouth, what comes out of our mouth. Both super important. Now, so detox, that doesn't mean like some juice cleanse, right? That's not what detox means to me. Um, Detox, it doesn't mean even like the whole 30. This January, a lot of us are doing the whole 30 together, and that's kind of a detox, but not really. That's not what I mean when I say detox. When I say detox, I mean really deep work in your liver, and I mean really pulling those toxins like out of your fat tissues, out of your gut. Um, when our bodies are super smart, and when the liver can't methylate, when it doesn't have the nutrition, or where there's something blocking that ATP cell cycle, that energy cycle, um, like it takes a lot of energy for the body to make bile, so that all gets recycled. So when a person's got any level of constipation, like all these toxins are getting recycled. So like you, however old you are, is like a vehicle your age that has never had a good oil change. Like if you've never done the detox that I'm going to talk to you about is a minimum of 120 days. And that is for the basically healthy people who just want to enhance their health or just are feeling a little low on energy. They kind of fit into that 120-day program. People who are more chronically ill maybe have a couple of medications they're on. Maybe they're having some fertility issues. Maybe they're just wanting to get healthy before they have a baby because now we know we pass our parasites down to our children. Isn't that nice of us? So the, everybody kind of fits into a different place. And I have got different programs for different levels of health. Now, my basic DIY that I'm really going to promote tonight, those things are for, like I said, the basically healthy who just kind of need a recharge, need a reboot, need a really good oil change, right? It is not for pregnant or breastfeeding people. Um, if I don't know you, if you're just ordering off my website, it's not for people under 18. If under parental guidance, that that's kind of up to you. Um, Most of the supplement dosing in this DIY, we're going to stick to the product labels, right? In my more intensive group program, like I've got a group that is hybrid where you're going to meet with me, we're going to do an assessment, we're going to do some functional testing, and then we're going to see where you fall into the detox and we're going to kind of personalize. Or I've got intensive one-to-one coaching for people who are fragile, who have been sick for a long time, who have maybe been out here flailing around doing DIY parasite cleanses and making themselves worse and just in all sorts of a mess, right? Then I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to work with you one to one. That is the intensive coaching. So all these layers. Tonight we're kind of focusing on the DIY. So get to the point, right? Get to the point, lady. What do you have to offer me? In the DIY modules, I will go ahead and share my screen, I think, with you in just a minute. I'll tell you what your savings is or what your your savings code is if you want to go ahead and start one of those DIY adventures today. Stick with me and I'll let you know what the code is. So, a lot of people want to know how do they know then if they basically feel all right? How do they know then if they have parasites? So, okay, here's the test. It's totally free. This is how you test for parasites. You just go ahead and take these two fingers and put them right here on your neck and just kind of pause and wait until you find that pulse. Got it? That's how you know. That's how you know if you could benefit from a good liver and bile oil change and parasite cleanse. If you have a pulse, you have parasites. Is everybody lousy with them like I was? No, no, they're not. Even myself, 3 years later, on the full moon, I can still see liver flukes in the toilet. So there's that, right? So on a DIY level, I have got a few options for you. Let me show you just quickly how to get there. And then I will, if I can make it work, I'll show you kind of how to navigate the do it yourself modules. So if you work with me or if you bought courses from anybody else who does this kind of thing, whether it's like music lessons or like everybody's doing courses online, right? And when we do these courses, especially this DIY, it's like a college level course, right? You're going to pay your tuition and I don't really care what grade you get, right? You're going to pay the same whether you get an A and you do all the work or you flunk out. It's the same, right? And even my one-to-one classes are like that. There's a lot of homework. Like people just really, well, I think they do realize how tough it is, how hard it is to lead a wellness lifestyle. And that's why they don't do it, right? So, like, we've got to have some stick to itiveness, right? If you get in any of my programs, it's work. Like, you have got to do a lot of work to get your health back. You cannot sit on your couch and do what you've been doing for the last 10 years and get your energy back. Like, you can't. So, it's a lot of work. I'm just saying that up front. You've got to get in the modules. You've got to do the homework, starting with setting some goals. It's really impossible for me to get you to your goal if you can't tell me what it is, right? And it can be hard. It can be hard to define your goals. So let me screen share for just a second. Let's see, what do I want to show you? We are going to go. So I can't give you like the full on directions because I have to have the window open, and if then it'll flip me out, because like it opens a second window. So you're going to go to my website, which is awakenwellnessllc.com. And I am going to show you, there's a tab, you're going to go under Get Started. And then you're going to go to the Cellcore DIY programs. Now, this program at this level is really primarily just about Cellcore products. Throughout the program, I need to update it. There's definitely, I wrote this a couple years ago, so there is some updates coming, especially as we get the hybrid group coaching going. Then I need to, there's a lot of updates coming. But anyway, in this Cellcore DIY page, this is a pop-up. And so this is where your purchase page is. It will pop up when you're on that page. You're technically signing this that says you're 18 years of age of older and you're in good health. And you can read through that. So this coupon code works a little bit different than some other coupon code books. Okay, so I'm going to push this in for you. This is the full price. Well, let's go here first. Hopefully it'll give me that back. This is what the page looks like. This is what the DIY page looks like. So it's on my website. It's under Get Started, and then you're going to go to Cellcore Biosciences. So this is totally self-run. In the modules, and I'll show you that in a little bit, is where I'm going to give you the directions for every step. Okay. And then I always have got Wednesdays on Facebook over the noon hour, my noon hour. I'm on Mountain Standard Time. I office hours. So you can always jump on there and ask me questions. So these are the offerings. Like I say, I wrote this a couple of years ago, so some of these pictures are even old. Cellcore is no longer a liquid CT Minerals. It is a tablet. But this tells you what you're going to get if you just want to do the full moon parasite cleanse. We always recommend that you do the 30-day jumpstart kit first. It just makes you feel amazing. Like, gets that mitochondria going, gets that energy up. It is just amazing. This package, we do a bowel mover because you want to have in your closet, your cupboard, in case you need it. Pooping is very important. You do not do any kind of parasite cleanse if you do not at least poop once a day. That's the rule. So if you don't poop once a day, you have to pre-game it. You have to do some pathway opening before you get to do any parasite work. Now, this is my most popular package. It's the Foundational Health and Wellness Package. So this is going to be that 120 days, and it's got the kit, the first kit, the Jumpstart kit, then there's step 2, step 3, step 4, and 2 bottles of bowel mover, and that has got your virtual kit coaching. You've got email access to me if you want to do any pictures or anything like that, like parasite identification. We do that in the Facebook group as well. Nobody's shy there. Like everybody shares freely their poop and parasite pictures, right? So that is the most popular. That is the most popular way to go for almost anybody. This is, for me, I think is the best. Is the best, the foundation. Inside that module, I'm going to tell you how to eat. We're going to avoid the 7 most inflammatory foods at a minimum. If you are in wanting, you get in here and you want deeper directions or you want some testing, you can always upgrade to one of those packages that includes testing, or you can just a la carte the testing too. That's totally up to you. So this is another choice, the full system detoxification. Now this one is definitely more aggressive than the 120-day foundation. This one is you jump into very aggressive parasite killing, and you're going to do that for 2 months. You're going to do that for 2 months. So it is, I need to update this page too because we no longer have the CT iodine. We use metabolic activator, which is way better. It's an awesome product, but this one is definitely deeper. It's a deeper, and you get your lymph system. It's just set up a little bit deeper. So I'm not going to really elaborate on that right here tonight. You can read through it and see what the difference is. And then if you're not ready to buy product, or you've got some product that you want to use up and you have this and you have that, you can just get the DIY full access pass, and that is just to that education module. When you get in there, then you also have permission. You get my provider code, so you can order the Cellcore products off of their website, and then you just order what you want and when you need it. So that works great for a lot of people. Now it's not giving me that pop-up again to purchase. Maybe if I try to, oh, here's the discovery call link, and that opens a different window, doesn't it? Then we're not sharing anymore. So now I want that pop-up back. Maybe if I just click that again, and it opened a different window. All right, hold on. I got to switch on you here. I will switch windows so we can have that pop up. I want to show you how you put in that discount code. So the discount that I am offering you is $200 off of that big package, the foundational package. All right, let me get you back there. Hold on. All right, let me show you how to use that because it is a little different than what we're used to. When you get here, you're gonna click in this coupon code. It is capital DIY and then 2025 and hit apply. And when you do that, then it's going to open up the discount products for you. So you'll see the foundational protocol. I'm offering it to you $200 off. The detox protocol, $200 off. The full moon is $50 off. And that full access pass is $100 off. So that is the offer tonight. And again, you have to check before you buy that you've read the return policy and that you are over 18 and you are in good health. And then you're free to buy that. And I will drop ship the products to you. If you're local, I can ship them to me and you can stop in and pick them up. We can do that either way. So let me see if anybody popped up with any questions. right. There's a few people still there. Does anybody have any questions before? I'm going to quick move on. And just because I have you here, I'm going to quick show you my other packages page. I think if I have it open, just so you know what I mean when I talk about these other packages that I offer. Yep, there it is. I will change screens here quickly. All right, these are other ways that you can work with me. Of course, I put the biggest, most intensive packages at the top. So this is the package page. You're just gonna scroll down. You can read your way through and looking at what package is right for you. The first choice is the intensive one-on-one packages. Now, I have a couple openings in that, but I only take on a few people because it is really intensive. Like we do a lot of work in those packages. There's three different levels. There's a jump start, and these don't go by time, they go by visits. So in the jump start, it's 4 sessions, the intensive is 8 sessions, and the total transformation is 12 sessions. Now, these include tests, functional tests. One of my favorite has come to be that it's a saliva test and it's genetics. So we see what your genes look like, and it's like the directions to you. I love it. It tells us if we have to baby those methylation pathways, like with certain B vitamins or support. It tells us that COMT if we need to take a deeper look at your estrogen detoxification, your estrogen pathways. It tells us what eating window is best for you, what foods are best for you, what exercise is best for you. So that is usually the test we do in the jumpstart. Well, no, I take that back because we retest. A lot of times in the jumpstart, we want to do food allergies or we want to do a stool test. In the intensive, um, it kind of just depends on if you've already done some testing or what your assessment tells us we really need to focus on. And then in these intensive programs, I do is pretty cell core heavy, but we use a lot of other supplements depending on where you're at. And we also go through the restoring your microbiome. I would say the foundation, the 120-day foundation, is kind of like taking a wrecking ball to your colon and your inside and shaking all those toxins loose. We do some serious remodeling. So after that, then we want to come in like with a stool test and see what's going on with your microbiome and like what we're going to do specifically for you to put those pieces back together. And then we have the hybrid programs. So the hybrid programs are great for people who are kind of working with a lower budget, for one thing. There isn't that one-on-one intensive hand holding that I do in the other program, but we do really cater it to you. And we use group coaching, so you still get a lot of good intensive feedback, but we also customize for you. In both of these programs, you get like meal and activity trackers, personalized meal planning. All of those are the same in the hybrid programs. We also include the functional testing. So we do the remodeling and then we put you back together. And like I say, these ones are more budget friendly because you don't have those one-on-one visits. And in the group coaching, we don't do the bioenergetic testing. In the one-on-one, we also every month do bioenergetic testing. So we're always seeing exactly where your body is at and exactly what your body wants to work on, and so much of the emotional work as well as the physical work. Right. And then if you go down, I do have that same, it'll just link you over to the DIY page. And that is the one that is on sale right now. So there is that. Let me see. Stop sharing. All right, I'm back. So I just want to thank you so much for being here with me. If you caught me live or if you're catching me on the replay, I appreciate you and I feel your pain. Your my compassion is so deep for anybody with chronic illness and parasite issues. Parasite issues can look like anxiety. They can look like hormone imbalance. It can look like blood sugar issues. It can look like skin issues. Um, like any open, crusty skin issues is at best a parasite problem. Candida is a parasite. Mold is a parasite. So, like I say, when I say parasite, it's pretty loose. Like, I mean anything that is stealing your nutrition, who is offsetting your pH to a less than optimal level, creating waste products. That is a parasite. Um, Teeth grinding at restless legs at night, not sleeping, insomnia, um, just the list the list of symptoms that are parasite driven is so long. Brain fog, body pain, like spine, joint, arthritis. It's parasites, it's parasites, it's parasites. Kids, behavior problems, parasites on top of heavy metals. Like it's layers and layers of problems, but we start it all the same, right? So even if you're super complicated, that 120-day foundation is still a perfect commitment. We start like with your colon. The colon is at the bottom, this drainage funnel. We have got to get you pooping. We've got to get you not constipated before we can do anything else. If you are constipated, well, that's probably parasites to start with. You have hemorrhoids, it's parasites. Like all these things, female issues, it's parasites, it's parasites, it's parasites. Like female, like vaginal bacteriosis, um, all of those things, chronic UTIs, all of it, H. pylori, and I consider that a bacteria, bad bacteria, that's in the parasites too. SIBO, all of that stuff, even bad breath, sinus issues, it all potentially can be remedied, improved, cleared up when we properly parasite cleanse. The scary thing about parasite cleanses is all of the choices out there, all of the choices in even the great herbs and great resources. But for the main part, one, the binders are less than ideal. And two, most people don't go deep enough and they don't go long enough. They just do enough to piss the parasites off and drive them deeper in the tissues. So, even like when we do a colonoscopy, where do the parasites go? They are mobile. Like when you have to do a clear liquid diet and you are fasting and cleansing before a colonoscopy, they leave, like they go somewhere else. They are mobile in your body. Food cravings, alcohol cravings, sugar addiction, parasite. They have their own personality, they have their own brain, anxiety, mental health issues. Like so many of these things get better, if not completely resolved, when you get your body under control, when you get the parasites under control. Like all those sugar cravings, um, candida overgrowth. We got to get the big parasites first. Then we work on the candida. Then we work on the heavy metals. Like that's way up here. Like it's a process. We do these things in layers, layers that the immune system can handle, layers that the immune system will welcome instead of putting our body into a crisis. And that's why we start the first step with mitochondrial health. So we build that energy so your body can do the work to come. And when we do it this way, it's you feel good while you're parasite cleansing. You don't feel terrible. If a person starts to have some herx reactions, if you start to feel like you got the flu or a cold, you can back down and like half dose it until and half dose the parasite products and up your mitochondrial support until your immune system catches up again, and then you go back to work. It's so important that you don't quit in the middle of it. I warn everybody not to quit in the middle of it, but they do anyway. They do anyway. Even my clients, I don't know why they get sick of taking the pills. It's a lot. You got to commit to taking in steps 2, 3, and 4. It's 4 times a day. So it's a big commitment. People get sick of it. So then realize they don't think they made it worse. They don't think they made it worse until like 6 months goes by or a year goes by and they've gained 20 pounds and they just don't know what's going on. It's the parasites. You made it worse. So like if you're one of my clients who quit in the middle of it, yeah, get back on, like commit to it, finish the job. It's so important. You have to finish it. And it's never really over. Like, and people don't want to hear that either. It's never really over. Once you clean up the parasites, you can't go back to eating junk food. Parasites love processed food, sugar, alcohol, carbs, carbs, carbs. You can't go back. Or yeah, you can do a 4-month parasite cleanse every year or every 2 years, or you can just not go back and keep your health, right? All right, guys, I am wrapping this up. So, once again, the offer is DIY 2025 for $200 off. You're going to go to my website, awakenwellnessllc.com, go under the Get Started tab, and go to the Cellcore Biosciences page and choose your program. Choose what's right for you and save some money. There's never going to be a perfect time to do this. Never. Just do it. Just do it. Your body needs it. Just do it.